Delegates, student officers, advisors, admin staff, and most esteemed guests, on behalf of the Secretariat, I would like to welcome you all to the opening ceremony of MSCHEMUN. My name is Divya Sasha, and I'm honored to serve as a Secretariat member for MSCHEMUN. I'm pleased to present this opening ceremony along with my fellow Secretariat members, Nicole An and Lokeshwar Gopikrishna. As a reminder, please ensure that your screen is focused on the ceremony throughout as a show of respect to our speakers, performers, and Secretariat members. I would like to appreciate everyone for all their hard work and effort over the past few months. The MUN directors, Ms. Pepper McFarland, Ms. Vinnie, as well as Ms. Mary, for their support and guidance. My fellow Secretariat members for their incredible work and efforts to organize a middle school CHEMUN conference for the first time. Student officers for your diligent work over the past few months to create research reports for delegates. And, of course, delegates, for your hard work and efforts to research and craft resolutions. Over the next 3 days, you will have the opportunity to engage in fruitful discussions regarding ways in which sustainability can be dealt with in the midst of climate change. I encourage you all to use this opportunity wisely to step out of your comfort zones and engage in meaningful discussion. I look forward to witnessing purposeful and fruitful debate in each and every committee over the next few days. We would now like to commence the MSCHEMUN lighting of the lamp. The lighting of the lamp is part of any auspicious ceremony here in South India, the home of Chennai and the physical heart of MSCHEMUN. Just as light dispels darkness, knowledge removes ignorance. Knowledge does not lessen when shared with others. On the contrary, it expands and clarifies. It benefits both the receiver and the giver. We light the lamp in the hope that during the next 3 days, you will progress on your journey to greater knowledge. The purpose of MSCHEMUN is to expand our horizons and improve ourselves. The lighting of the lamp symbolizes this aspiration. Despite all present limitations, we persist with this tradition in good faith. Faith in the propensity for learning, sharing, and growing that is present in each and every one of you. Now, the lighting of the lamp.
Thank you, Divya, for embracing that wonderful tradition of lamp lighting. My name is Lokeshwar Gopikrishna, and I will serve as one of the co-founders/Secretariat members of MSCHEMUN. Before we continue, please welcome the middle school principal, Ms. Jennifer Bertram, to deliver her speech.
Hi, I'm Jennifer Bertram, and I'm the middle school principal at the American International School of Chennai. It's my great pleasure to be here to talk to you, candidates, at the Middle School CHEMUN Conference. When I was asked to speak about the topic of sustainability, I immediately thought of people who have been in our community and spoken with our own students. During our STEAM week in this past March, Malati Weesen spoke to our students about the project that she and her sister Isabel started on their home island of Bali. Together they were able to work with local students, local schools, local government in order to ban plastic bags from Bali. She has then gone on to work on more projects that encourage other students to be change makers, and she started a program called Youthtopia, in which she hopes that many youth are able to join in her ranks of change makers in the world. So when you think of change makers, you might think of someone who lives far away, does something fabulous like Bye Bye Plastic Bags Bali, but we can find change makers in our own communities also. In fact, in Chennai, we found Arun Vijay. He's a student at UWC Singapore who also spoke to our students during our STEAM week. Arun is very interested in supporting the local fisher community in Chennai. During the pandemic, he was able to work with young people in order to give them a better understanding of the importance of the food chain in the local fisher community and in the local ecosystem. Arun spoke to us from Singapore and talked to us about how education can be the vehicle for change and how this is also a way that we can cause changes that are sustainable. However, if you think about two people who are more widely seen perhaps, you can also look to your own school community. And in fact, if we look inside the AISC community, we can see that there are change makers in the high school students whose CAS project it was to put on the middle school CHEMUN. I can't think of a better way to provide sustainability in terms of programming and ideas and continuing the work that students started during our STEAM week, where they looked into connections that they could make with the UN sustainability goals. So when Mahatma Gandhi said, "Be the change that you want to see in the world," my question is, what are the ways in which you can participate in those changes? What are the ways in which you can make the projects that you do at school more sustainable, more long-lasting? And I would suggest that each of us can take a role in making those changes long-term and sustainable. And I hope that this conference is a way that you can get your thinking started on that topic and think about next steps to make the change that you want to see in the world. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Bertram. Now I would like to introduce Rishi Bardwaj, a junior at AIC, as well as a member of the MUN program. He will be performing a traditional South Indian piece. Please join me in welcoming him.
My name is Rishi Bardwaj, and I'm going to be singing. Oru Naal Oru Poludagilum. It's a Carnatic song. Carnatic is the local traditional South Indian music style, and this song is in the Ragam Kamas in Talam Adi. That's basically the scale is in Kamas and the rhythm is in Adi. This was composed and written by Papanasam Sivan. He's a very well-renowned old. I'm pretty sure he's passed away, but he's a well-renowned Carnatic composer, and he's written this song. This song is fairly devotional. It's about how singing the name of God is more than enough. You can have several material values, but singing the name of God, in this case Shiva, is all that you need once a day. But moreover, I feel like this is a great demonstration of Carnatic music culture, and by that, the culture of South India and India as a whole. So I'm going to be singing Oru Naal Oru Poludagilum again. Composed and written by Papanasam Sivan, originally sung by M.K. Tyagaraja Bhagavadar, and I'm going to be singing that now. Oru Naal Oru Poludagilum Sivanamam. Oru Naal Oru Poludagilum Sivanamam. உச்சரிக்க வேண்டும் ஜன்மமும் கிடைத்தேற ஒரு நாள் ஒரு பொழுதாகிலும் சிவநாமம் உச்சரிக்க வேண்டும் ஜன்மமும் கிடைத்தேற ஒரு நாள் ஒரு பொழுதாகிலும் சிவநாமம் உச்சரிக்க வேண்டும் ஜன்மமு கடை தேர ஒரு நாள் வெறும் நாளாகி நாம் வாழ்நாளை வெறும் நாளாகி பின் ஜனனமே துய வெறும் நாளாகி பின் ஜனனமே துய வேளைக்குள் மூழ்கி பின் காலம் கழிக்காமல் வேளைக்குள் மூழ்கி பின் காலம் கழிக்காமல் ஒரு நாள் ஒரு பொழுதாகிலும் சிவநாமம் உச்சரிக்க வேண்டும் ஜன்மமும் கடை தேர ஒரு நாள் பெண்டு பிள்ளை வீடு கன்று மாடு தனம் பெண்டு பிள்ளை வீடு கன்று மாடு தனம் பெருமையான பெரும் வெள்ளம் பெண்டு பிள்ளை வீடு கன்று மாடு தனம் பெருமையான பெரும் வெள்ளம் இதை கண்டு நெஞ்சில்லா இதை கண்டு நெஞ்சில் முகம் கொண்டு சிண்டு சாடை கடல் மூழ்காதே பெரும் பள்ளம் தனில் கொண்டமே நின்றிடுமே கொண்டமே நின்றிடுமே பின்கரை கொள்ளு வெகு வளத்தமே பெரும் தனில் கொண்டமே நின்றிடுமே பின்கரை கொள்ளு வெகு வருத்தமே முனிவர் தொண்டு செய் சிதம்பரமே நினைந்தாள் தொண்டு செய் சிதம்பரமே நினைந்தாள் தோணியாகி வருமே தோணியாகி வருமே அதனால் ஒரு பொழுதாகிலம் சிவநாமம் உச்சரிக்க வேண்டும் ஜன்மம் கடை தேர ஒரு நாள் ஒரு பொழுதாகிலோ சிவநாமம் உச்சரிக்க வேண்டும் ஜன்மம் கடை தேர ஒரு நாள்
On behalf of MSCHEMUN, thank you, Rishi. We now have the distinct privilege of having Ms. Sahar Mansoor, working for Bare Necessities, to speak for us here at MSCHEMUN. Bare Necessities is an organization seeking to create environmental and social impact by offering zero-waste solutions to empower local communities and to change mindset and sustainability in India and beyond. Please welcome Ms. Sahar Mansoor.
Hi everyone, gathered here today for the Model United Nations. I'm going to just start off by telling you a little bit about myself and tell you a little bit about my story. Hi, I'm Seher Mansoor and I'm attempting to start to live a zero-waste lifestyle. I'm definitely not perfect, but it's an attempt. Following waste pickers all around town, Bangalore City, made me really understand the social justice issues associated with our waste problem. I watched waste pickers, or waste warriors, like I like to call them, collect broken glass, sanitary napkins, all with their absolute bare naked hand. These experiences were a complete cultural eye-opener for me. And it made me want to realize more about what I want to do and my purpose. And I knew I just wanted to stop being part of the problem. So I started Bare Necessities, which is an enterprise that produces zero-waste products that are made with high-quality ingredients that are non-polluting and given to consumers with a zero-waste packaging. The idea is to divert all plastic or waste from the oceans and the landfill. Because these products that we traditionally use on a daily basis, whether that's a toothbrush or shampoo, it all comes in plastic and it's loaded with chemicals, right? So Bare Necessities is here to become the Lush of India. We're on track to divert 500 kilograms of plastic. We're coming up with a new innovation that will help reduce about 80 to 90% of plastic waste, but also carbon dioxide emissions. Through our holistic employment philosophy, our two-pronged approach of education but also products, with a UNESCO-recognized education portal with 35,000 graduates, and it's reached about 2.5 million people so far, we're really seeking to make information around sustainability and about climate action fun, easy, and super, super digestible. We are the future of conscious consumption. We're not just the first movers in the zero-waste space in Asia, but we're also trying to be a thought leader. With Penguin published books, innovative products, and packaging, community building strategies, I want to build a model of production and distribution that has low environmental impact. I also hope to make this model accessible to other entrepreneurs to provide them with sustainable solutions so they can replicate it with well-documented learnings, failures from my past, so they don't have to make the same mistakes I made. I'm happy to report that Bare Necessities is named the top 5 handcrafted brands by Harper's Bazaar magazine, and we've been also titled Google in India's Most Inspiring Indians of the Year, and I was the youngest recipient of the Doshi Bridge Builder Award. Let me tell you why I do this. My experiences volunteering in Jamaica, Democratic Republic of Congo, and Guatemala truly allowed me to expand my definition of what interculturalism and inequality actually looks like. Here, I watched women come together to create something. And that's what inspired me to create a women-run manufacturing team here at Bare Necessities, largely of underserved women. While studying in the University of Cambridge and working at the World Health Organization truly stimulated my mind, it was through volunteering that really my heart got stimulated. And that's why I try and lead with compassion in small but little ways. I was able to bring in a Geneva-based leadership coach to do a leadership training with us, irrespective of whether you graduated from Harvard or you have no formal education at all. Let me tell you a little bit about Shabreen. Shabreen was maybe my 3rd employee. She started off in the manufacturing team. She soon became the head of the manufacturing team and swiftly then got promoted to being assistant operations manager, learned how to ride a bike, got a license, got her mum a house, all in the span of just 4 years of working at Bare Necessities. And that's why I'm so inspired to try and create 4,000 stable green jobs while diverting 500 kgs of plastic from our oceans and landfills. Shifting gears a little bit to talk about sustainability among climate change, our topic of the day. I want to give you a few examples of circular economy in action to demonstrate that innovation is here and possible, and not to lose any hope and optimism. We don't have to be hippies, or we don't have to go back to being cavemen. We just have to find the right balance between sustainable development and innovative ideas, which there are lots around us. So let me give you a few examples. The first one is soap bottle. This girl named Joanna was doing her master's dissertation, and she came up with this concept of why not having a bottle that's made out of soap with maybe some liquid soap or liquid shampoo inside of it. Once you finish using all of the liquid, you can use the soap to wash your hands or whatever that might be. And literally, the dispenser just washes away, dissolves, and goes back to nature. So there's absolutely no waste associated with it. The next example is Adidas, a brand that I'm sure all of you are well familiar with. So they spent 6 years actually to come up with this new product, which was called the Ultra Loop DNA trainers. So they had this big experiment, and they had in April of 2019, they had 200 runners from across the world run in those shoes, try it out for a few months, and then sent it back to them. They then melted the shoes because it's made out of one material only, which is called a monomaterial production, right? Made it into pellets and used that same first DNA generation version to make the generation 2 version of it. And that is what circular economy in action looks like. The next example is of Repair Cafe. It's just like your next door cafe where there's food and beverages and you get to hang out with people and sandwiches, but except you can also repair. So every week they have a theme, where this week we're looking at our old clothes. So you can bring any of your clothes that maybe have a button that's gone, or some stitching and mending that it requires. And they'll be sure to kind of get textile students or fashion students or other experts of there to be a resource to you to help kind of fix your existing product. Or maybe they'll pick electronics this weekend, and again they'll have some engineers to come help troubleshoot, or technicians to help you fix some of your old electronics as well. And the Repair Cafe, while it started in 2009, it's become so famous that almost every city in the world now has a chapter of Repair Cafe, including my home city of Bangalore, that's run by Purna Sarkar. Next example is refillable trucks. Maybe you've seen of these, or maybe you've heard of these, but essentially these are trucks that are driving around cities with little dispensers, right, of all of your home cleaning supplies or personal care supplies, whether that means shampoo, liquid soap, sanitizer, floor cleaners, that you can just basically go to very democratically, pay for as much liquid or cleaning agents you are purchasing. And this is kind of the start of this new refill economy that is saying no to single-use plastic. Another example that I really love is using seaweed. Yeah, that's right, seaweed. So there's a pilot in the UK with this company called Just Eats, And they essentially provided the very, very famous Hellman ketchup sauce in little patches of bags or little sachets of seaweed. So instead of that single-use ketchup bag that you might get with your takeaway food, this is a really great example because it is odorless, it is tasteless. When you're done using the ketchup, you can simply compost it, and in 6 weeks, it'll just go back to the earth. So which means you can just put it into your garden and you can watch it kind of go back to the earth. Not only that, that innovation is also used in, for example, the London Marathon. So the London Marathon, as we know, is one of the biggest marathons in the world. And there are runners who come there to take part in this, right? But as a result, you can imagine that there's lots of single-use plastic that they use along the way to make that marathon, right? So using seaweed again in the form of this edible little pouch or sachet or bubble was a great revolutionary idea. So every year about 90,000 people come to run the London Marathon and roughly about 9,20,000 plastic bottles were used, which of course we all know it takes 200 years to 700 years to even start decomposing in the first place. And it never fully does. It just breaks down into tiny, tiny small pieces of plastic called microplastic, which then lands up in our dinner and our food, our waterways, and it's just not any good news for any of us, right? So this example is amazing of these edible seaweed sachets that is tasteless, and you can just have a little bag on the go and not produce any waste. Another example is of headphones. Who doesn't love a really good pair of headphones, right? So Gerald Street is designing these high quality modular headphones that makes it really easy to disassemble and assemble, and that's what makes it really easy to repair, refurbish, or even upgrade. So what makes these headphones so circular? The headphones are designed in a subscription system. So just as you pay for Netflix or Spotify, you just have to pay a little per month rather than a huge amount right away. And the company takes care of any repairs or upgrades on the way. So what happens over here is that 85% of the components get reused, and customers can get an extremely affordable, high quality product with high level of servicing. So Gerard Street also says that it uses fewer virgin materials to create new headphones. The most effective way to balance sustainability with globalization and development is simply by adding a more human touch to it all. Rather than just looking everything with the profitability lens, we simply need to think about all aspects. Potential for profit leads to exploitation, chemical-induced food, or even unsustainable supply chains as an example. The most effective way to move forward is using current infrastructure and building upon this. For example, vertical farming, aquaponics, sustainable alternatives to single-use plastic, using the land that we have to harvest abundant of natural resources such as wind and sunlight for renewable energy. Another effective way, as difficult as it might sound sometimes, is governance, and that's what exactly we're all here doing today. Setting caps, limits on carbon emissions, policies on traveling, policies on single-use plastic use, design products with a cradle-to-cradle philosophy, policy recommendations to manage waste better and to reduce waste, to create a better policy system to help build a place for behavioral economists, ecologists, researchers, consumers alike to come together to build a world of circular economy. Nationally, we need to stop mining, reduce carbon, but also other pollutants. We need to start focusing on regenerative economies, creating community cooperatives, and different kinds of economic systems that makes it possible for us people to thrive economically, while at the same time also taking us completely off the grid. At a global scale, we have to decarbonize our economies, we have to shift financial flows, protect our ecosystem, and adapt for the future. We must strive to achieve sustainable development goals. This is the time for us to come together to protect and preserve this gorgeous Mother Earth that sustains us. Starting an enterprise that is an earth-centered and people-centered approach to our waste problem and to come up with fun, accessible content to make sustainability accessible was my solution. It was how I wanted to get involved. It's certainly not the entire solution for climate change, but it was just the way how I knew how to get involved. So today I urge all of us here today to go beyond social media activism, to build resilience as a generation, to start being part of the solution, to become doers, to really act however you possibly can, small actions or big. Today, as we are gathered here in this Model United Nations sessions, stimulating climate talks and role-playing delegates of all of our major world countries, May we find solutions today for a cleaner, greener, and more just world.
With the opening ceremony coming to an end and debate within committees commencing shortly, it is only right that the individuals who make debate possible are recognized. Student officers are the most vital aspect of any MUN conference, and the same goes for MSCHEMUN. The sheer dedication and excellence shown by our student officers, despite being virtual and communicating with individuals whom they had never met before, must be recognized, for it requires an exceptional amount of talent and skill. Therefore, I would now like to recognize the student officers that allow the committee to function properly. Without further ado, your student officers for this conference are: in the Security Council, Maya Raguraman, Taiki Ibohashi, and Sankalp NS. In the Council of Olympus, Karya Raguraman, Luke Merletti, and Shapur Penkar. In the Economic and Social Council number 1, Tanga Tirumagal Karthikeyan, Sahiba Kaur, Doyun Kim, and Chana Kautam. In the Economic and Social Council number 2, Alia Bist, Krishna Narambali, Vikashna Sankar, and Nehal Bajaj. And finally, in the Environment Committee, Abhinand Satish, Tanya Sriram, Yewan Choi, and Vishwajit Karthikeyan.
Honorable advisors, esteemed delegates, student officers, and my fellow secretariat. My name is Nicole Ann, and I have the honor of serving as the Secretary General of the First Middle School, Chennai Model, United Nations. I remember joining MUN 5 years ago as a small 7th grader. Over the past 5 years, MUN has helped me to develop essential skills that I will continue to use in the future. I learned how to analyze multifaceted solutions for serious issues and collaborate effectively and efficiently with others. MUN equipped me with the skills and knowledge to become an active agent of change in the world. This year's theme reads Finding Sustainability Amidst Climate Change. Sustainability, as defined by the United Nations Brundtland Commission, is meeting the needs of the present without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs. What is the relationship between sustainability and climate change? Why is sustainability important, especially for us, the younger generation? In the last 10 years, we have made incredible and rapid advances in human health, transport, energy, food production, and infrastructure. But in our haste to adapt to new technologies that made our lives better, we are now paying the price. High carbon and resource-intensive economic models are warming the planet, destroying nature and biodiversity. They're increasing inequality, as those with least access to the benefits are the ones who suffer the most from its unwelcome side effects. As climate change continues, there are more families living in poverty with less food and less clean water. Back to answering the question of why sustainability is important, finding sustainability is essential because it improves the quality of our lives, protects our ecosystem, and preserves natural resources for future generations. This year, as you focus on creating solutions, keep questioning yourself on whether this solution will help find sustainability for the future. Whether you're in the Economic and Social Council, tackling the issue of increased waste production due to the COVID-19 pandemic, or in the Security Council, discussing the issue of environmental degradation in war-torn regions. Each one of the solutions you debate is meant to bring sustainability. Not only should you seek to find sustainability, but ensure that your solutions will not accelerate climate change. It is important that when you draft your solutions, you examine the multidimensionality of its effects. It is important to ponder and question the unforeseen consequences. I encourage you all to challenge each other in order to create the best possible solutions you can as a committee. MUN is a lot more collaborative than it is individual. You're working as a collective organization to create the best work you can, and you do this by pushing your own boundaries of thought as well as others. Remember, you are all, well, most of you, are working towards one common goal and stance in your committee. Over the course of the next 3 days, I hope you each take away something new about MUN that you find yourself to be passionate about. I hope you have fruitful debates, create new friendships, and learn to become better leaders of tomorrow at MSCHEMUN. With that, I officially declare MSCHEMUN open. Thank you.